because Hollywood likes to sort of devalue black artists and black folk, because you get super talented people at a discounted rate.
Katt Williams has been saying it loud and clear. Hollywood don't mess with the real ones. It's the puppets, the sellouts, and the ones willing to play the game who get all the love. But if you've got morals, if you've got a backbone and won't play along, they'll ice you out quick.
The real deal is we don't own any platform the way we should. There's a few Black-owned platforms, but we don't have a lot of outlets. We don't have as many. So we are not sort of governing over these entities or these corporations.
And that's exactly what seems to have happened to 90s icon Larenz Tate. You remember him? He crushed it in Menace II Society, had everybody falling in love with him in Love Jones, and every time he hit the screen, it was straight up black excellence. But out of nowhere, poof.
Back when Larenz Tate was a sitcom kid, he did have a lot of shows that didn't last. And I'm pretty sure at one point he felt like his career was not going in the direction it should. See, this is a testament that what is for you, and things happen in divine timing.
He was gone. No drama, no arrests, no public breakdowns, just disappeared like Hollywood hit the mute button on him. People started asking, what happened to Larenz? Why did one of the most talented, smooth, respected black actors of his era suddenly vanish from major roles? Well, Katt didn't spell it out word for word, but he threw plenty of shade to make it crystal clear. It sounds like Larenz refused to play the Hollywood game behind closed doors. You know the stories, those creepy so-called rituals, the secret handshakes, the stuff they expect you to do to move up. And when you say no, when you don't bow down, you become a problem. And in Hollywood, a problem gets erased real fast.
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about, does following the ritual work? Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear.
Katt hinted that Larenz was too real to be controlled, and that's why they shut the door on him. If you ain't easy to manipulate, they throw you out like yesterday's news. So now the real question is, what exactly did Larenz Tate escape? What kind of shady mess did he dodge that other actors just walked right into without even flinching? And why did Hollywood, with all its power and connections, quietly blacklist a man who should have been a global household name by now? Let's get into it. Back in the 90s, Larenz was that dude. You couldn't miss him. His face was everywhere.
Now, this young man has obviously forgotten some very fundamental things like decency and dedication and honor. Everything the Corps taught us. He is a disgrace to everyone that has ever put on that uniform, and I will not permit you or him to use the Vietnam War as a cop-out here.
He came in hard with Menace II Society, playing a wild, unpredictable OG with a cold heart and a short fuse. That performance, straight up unforgettable. Then he flipped the script in Dead Presidents, showing us a whole different side. A soldier trying to survive, weighed down by trauma and frustration. You could see the pain in his eyes. That wasn't just acting, that was soul. And who could forget Love Jones?
A little something I've been working on. It's new. I call it a blues for Nina. Ooh. Is that a smile me put on your face, child?
Larenz had women straight up hypnotized playing Darius Love Hall. Smooth, poetic, deep. He wasn't just acting, he was embodying black love in its most raw and beautiful form. This man wasn't just some Hollywood name, he was our guy. Black men looked up to him, women adored him. He had charisma, talent, and class all wrapped in one. And here's the kicker, he never embarrassed himself or the culture. No wild scandals, no courtroom drama, no messy headlines, just pure skill, clean image, and realness. Larenz didn't crash and burn. He didn't spiral out or make some wild mistake. He just acted, and he did it crazy good. But then, silence. No public meltdown, no viral headline, no dramatic, he said what? Moment. One day he was on fire. Hollywood's next big thing. Then the next, it's like someone pressed mute on his entire career, and that's what made it so strange. Usually when a star vanishes, it's because of something big. Rehab scandals, court cases, a messy relationship gone public, but with Larenz, none of that ever happened. No chaos, no mess, just a quiet fade into the background. Now he's still out here doing roles here and there, but nothing close to the spotlight he once owned. That man used to carry films, and now he's barely seen. So, What really went down? Well, this is where Katt Williams starts looking real prophetic again. There's been talk that Larenz started turning down roles that didn't sit right with him. Stereotypical scripts, disrespectful characters. And yeah, even those cross-dressing for laughs roles that get passed around like some kind of unspoken test in Hollywood. Larenz wasn't about to sell himself out like that.
Historically, Hollywood has always taught us we don't translate overseas or worldwide.
Right.
But when you start traveling and you go everywhere and you can't walk down the street, you then know that there's been somebody telling you something all along that's quite wrong. And my true belief as to why they do it is because Hollywood likes to sort of devalue black artists and you know, black folk, because you know, you get super talented people at a discounted rate. You get a super Hollywood likes to get really talented black folks and get them at a discounted rate. Only, you know, certain superstars that can hit that level that they would feel like they would put a machine behind. But the truth of the matter is we do translate because we're humans just like everyone else.
And this,
He stood on his values. He wanted real, powerful stories that meant something. But in Hollywood, when you say no a few too many times, they blacklist you fast, the phones stop ringing, the roles dry up, and the doors that used to open wide suddenly slam shut. Let's keep it 100. Hollywood don't like a confident black man who ain't begging for their validation, especially one who's smart, clean-cut, talented, and knows his own worth. That shakes things up. And the system, it don't like to be shaken. See, here's the cold truth. Hollywood only leaves room for a few strong black men at the top at the same time. It's like there's a hidden quota. They'll boost one, maybe two, give him the awards, the blockbuster roles, the career longevity, but the rest, nah. They get boxed into the same tired roles. The sidekick, the comic relief, the troubled background character, always in the shadow, never the spotlight. And while that's going down, the studios stay throwing bags of money at stories soaked in the same recycled pain. Drugs, gangs, prison, broken homes. Like that's all there is to our story. Why? Because, like Spike Lee called out, Hollywood is comfortable with black pain. It's what they know. It's easy. It sells without rocking the boat. It keeps the power structure untouched. But
everybody's saying that this is a year for African American films. I think they're 10
They say
films.
that every 5 years they say.
Not every 5, maybe every 10.
Every 10.
Every 10 years we get.
Every 10.
Now
There's a new wave. There's a new wave, and then something happens, and then
As Viola Davis say, then you'll go 5 years and you won't get anything. Yes.
it's cyclical. But it's tough business.
Yes.
a proud, self-respecting black man who won't sell out just to secure a check, that's a threat. That's dangerous. That's someone who might inspire the next generation to think bigger. Someone who might start calling out the shady stuff that happens behind the scenes, and they definitely can't allow that.
So when you were quoted as saying Hollywood doesn't know anything about black people, you still feel that?
I would use the word anything now.
Okay. You would say a little bit. You say Hollywood now knows a little bit.
I feel that until we get into the position of being gatekeepers, if we're not in the room, if we don't have a green light vote, it's not getting done. Somebody in the studio has to say, we're making it.
So every time there is, as you said, where everybody's talking about the 10, this is now a new wave of black films. Do you think it's
hogwash?
So, yeah, they gave us one Denzel, and even he had to be damn near perfect. 10 times more polished, 10 times more controlled, never slipping, never showing weakness. And as for Larenz Tate, don't let anybody tell you he disappeared because he wasn't good enough. That's a lie. He vanished from the mainstream because he refused to play the part they had scripted for him.
We work twice as hard to get twice as less as our counterparts, right? And that being said, we're not valued. I believe we're supposed to be valued. So those budgets are really important for us so that we can have the kind of quality that we can present to the consumer. And the smaller the budget, the more creative you have to get. And we don't have resources oftentimes as our white counterparts.
He didn't want to be their stereotype. He didn't want to sacrifice his image or his people just to stay famous. And that made him a problem. And guess who's been calling all this out for years now? Katt Williams. He's been waving the flag, exposing how the game's really played, and now it's all starting to make a lot more sense. It's wild. People used to clown Katt Williams, calling him crazy, bitter, paranoid. They said he was just mad because Hollywood wasn't giving him his flowers. But now, folks are waking up. They're realizing he was never lying. He was warning us. And that's exactly why they tried to silence him.
Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Think about it. Katt's been dropping clues for years. One of the biggest things he talks about is how Hollywood tests you. Yeah, people get stuck on that whole men in dresses topic. But according to Katt, it's not even about the dress itself. It's about something way more twisted. Humiliation and control. Before they let you into those elite rooms, there's always a moment where they test your boundaries. They ask you to do something that goes against who you are, something that makes you feel small, like you're not in charge of your own body or choices. And once you agree to it, they got you.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until...
No. Oh, no.
So they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay.
You know you'll fall in line, no questions asked. But Katt didn't stop there. He went even deeper. He said this stuff ain't just shady, it's spiritual. He started connecting all these so-called Hollywood rituals to something darker, something that goes way beyond the cameras and scripts. According to him, what looks like a simple comedic role or harmless costume might really be part of something way more serious. Whispers of elites, secret symbols, and yes, even talk of Baphomet worship. Katt was basically saying that once you cross certain lines, it's not just about the industry anymore. It's about submission. He wasn't just talking fame, he was talking sacrifice, control, giving up your own will to something you can't even see.
Like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
And once you're in that deep, you don't get to walk away clean. Now let's tie this all back to Larenz Tate. The man had everything. Talent, off the charts. Looks, movie star level, respect from the culture, undeniable. He wasn't just good, he was great. So why did he suddenly vanish? Not because he wasn't good enough. Nah, it looks like Larenz got to that final door and turned around. He didn't fall off, he walked away. And he's even hinted at that in interviews. He didn't take the bait. He didn't bow down. He refused to let them break him. But Larenz didn't just exit stage left quietly. He started speaking up, saying the kind of stuff that makes Hollywood sweat. And once you do that, you're officially a threat. One of the major things he called out, the pay gap. While everyone's busy praising Hollywood for diversity and inclusion, Larenz kept it real. He said what a lot of black actors have been forced to swallow in silence, that even when they deliver the same energy, the same ticket sales, the same loyal fan base as their white co-stars, they're still getting paid less. Let that sink in. Same talent, same draw, same dedication, but smaller checks. And this ain't a new issue. It's just one most are scared to speak on because they know what happens when you make too much noise. But Larenz, he said it anyway, and that's when you start noticing the pattern. Once you stop being safe, once you demand fairness instead of being grateful, they start pulling those strings behind the scenes. Hollywood wants you smiling, posing, and saying thank you, even when they're cutting corners on your worth. But the minute you speak up, suddenly the phone stops ringing. The auditions vanish. The big offers, gone. All because you refuse to play dumb and stay quiet. And that's exactly what happened to Larenz. He didn't play the puppet, so they tried to erase him. Just look at what happened to Taraji P. Henson and Monique. The second they spoke up about being undervalued and underpaid, the industry slapped them with labels. Difficult, ungrateful, hard to work with. Meanwhile,
Street Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working
so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. I'll have to. The math ain't mathin'.
Their white counterparts can demand millions, walk away from deals, and still get called strong or business savvy. The double standard is loud, and Larenz Tate, he wasn't about to stay silent either. He didn't just talk about the paychecks, he went deeper. He said putting a few black actors in lead roles and tossing them a check isn't real progress, it's performative. Because the real power in Hollywood, it's behind the scenes. Who's writing the scripts? Who's directing the stories? Who's funding the projects and choosing which ones get greenlit? If those decisions are still being made by the same few people who've always been in charge, then it's all just a show. Representation without control? That's not power, it's a distraction. And Larenz called that out. He wanted more than to be a face on a poster. He wanted real change. And for that, they tried to bury him. Larenz didn't sell out. He didn't play the puppet. He didn't trade integrity for a bigger check. He stayed true to himself, and that made him dangerous in an industry that survives on control. So what did they do? They cut him off. Roles stopped coming. Studios stopped calling. The media stopped highlighting him. He was erased. Quietly, but completely. Not because he lost his touch, not because he couldn't act anymore, but because he refused to be owned. From leading man to ghost, all because he wouldn't bow down. And this right here? This is exactly why Hollywood didn't just cancel Larenz Tate, they buried him. Quiet, strategic. They always do when someone's too clean to dig up dirt on, but too strong to break or control. They couldn't humiliate him, couldn't twist his image, so instead, they made him disappear. That's how the game works. If they can't own you, they erase you. But now, the truth is starting to leak out, and with Katt Williams boldly name-dropping Larenz, that's no small move. It means something serious is bubbling underneath. Because when real ones start speaking, the system gets shook. No matter how hard they try to keep the curtains closed, the stories are surfacing. Larenz Tate didn't fall off, he escaped. He walked away from the machine before it could strip him of everything. And now, the world is finally connecting the dots. So I gotta ask, what do you think really happened to Larenz Tate? Was it the rituals Katt hinted at? Was it the pay gap, the control, the silent gatekeeping? Or is there something even deeper going on behind the scenes? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you're feeling this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more stories they don't want you to hear, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. This ain't over. It's just getting started. See you in the next one.